A city that means so much to Gene and means so much to me. My hometown and Jeannie's home away from home that became your home. Syracuse Orange basketball alum Gene Waldron, who helps the youth of today and is training everybody and paying it forward. So shout out to Gene Waldron. Shout out to everybody that's come out for the Syracuse Crawfish Festival put on by Operation Northern Comfort. And Wake Up Call is live. We've done a bunch of sets. Now we're here with Gene Waldron, one of my closest friends who a few years back decided to call me a brother. And not a brother, Gene. How do you say it?
A brother.
So,
great friends.
How we doing, Gene? How we doing?
Doing very good. It's a nice day today. A little bit of a breeze. It's nice to see all these people out here enjoying themselves and having a good time.
Yeah. So, Jeannie, we got a lot of stuff to get into, a lot of things to talk about. One of the things is you've never had crawfish before.
No, I've never had crawfish.
So
I might try it though today. You said it's pretty good, so I might just give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Mrs. Waldron off camera to get you some crawfish. She's had some crawfish, all right? You've had it before? Yeah, and she likes it. She's a fan. So you got two out of three. You're outnumbered, Jeannie. You got to get some crawfish.
I'm gonna give it a try.
Right.
I promise you.
So you and I were talking off the air about Syracuse basketball. There's been a lot of change. We got Kyle Cuff coming back, who came in last year. We got Westery coming back that didn't play last year. And then we got J.J. Starling coming back, Naheem McLeod, who got injured, coming back, Chris Bell coming back, and then the entire world after that is different.
Yeah, it is going to be different. And I think it's unfortunate that we had some players that left. But you know, Coach Autry's gonna put it all together, and I think it's gonna be an interesting year. But it's for me. I just would like to have seen that team stay together because I think with another year under their belt, they could have really made a lot of noise in the league and also in the NCAA tournament because I believe they would have made it.
What was the biggest loss Syracuse had, in your opinion, from the team last year? Like the biggest guy that went in the transfer portal?
For me, it had to be Brown. Losing Brown. I think losing Brown was humongous. I mean, because he had done so much for the team. And obviously, I mean, I understand he was playing out of position, but I also believe that he was a big key to why Syracuse did so well.
Yeah, Malik Brown, to me, he was the utility belt of Syracuse. I talked to him about that before. I said, you do everything. He doesn't complain. He, you never saw him in trouble. You never saw him do anything. I said they can't lose Malik Brown, or that's like the whole team. Like if they lose Malik, they lose the nucleus. If they lose Malik and Q, those are the 1 and 2. They ended up losing them both. Malik's going to Duke, so Syracuse has to play him. What do you think about the fact that he's going to Cameron Indoor now? He's going to be a Dookie.
Best of luck to him, but I won't be rooting for him, that's for sure.
And Quadir Copeland, I've been waiting to talk to you about this because when Kadari left, you and I talked about how heartbreaking, and between you and Pearl, when your guys coming from the Long Island area, the New York City area, when you get a guy from there, when you get a guard from there, Syracuse never lost those guys. Syracuse was the place, and you take that very personally. So when Kadari left, you and I were talking about how that was a really hurtful thing, a tough thing, that Pearl was probably rolling over in the grave thinking about that.
Oh, yeah.
So now that I know that Q's not from, the same area as you, but Q is one of those just dog-eat-dog guards, and I feel like he could be a similar loss like a Kadari. Do you feel that way?
Absolutely. And for me, I wonder what possessed or what gave these guys the notion that the grass is going to be greener on the other side. Copeland had it made here in Syracuse. I mean, it was a fan favorite. The people here in Syracuse loved him. Yeah. In my opinion, there was no reason for him to leave Syracuse. He had it made here. And I just hope, with the decision that he made, it was the right one because Syracuse was the place for him. There was, in my opinion, there was just no way he should have left.
Well, and the thing is he told me in Greensboro in the locker room right after, not this past ACC tournament, but the one before that, I was talking to him about it, and I said, Q, you're a 1 and a 2, you're a combo guard. And he looked right at me post-game, end of the season, and he goes, no. He said, I'm a 1, I came to Syracuse to be a 1, I'm playing 1. And I said, all right. So I walked away from that conversation, and obviously Judah came back, so he's not the one, and he comes off the bench, he plays more, but he's still not the true point guard. So in my head, he was going to transfer out if Judah was staying. So when he transferred out, I said, all right, so Judah's probably hanging around then. I'm really surprised that Judah decided to leave and Q left, because Q told me he wanted to be the one, and I thought if Judah left, that Q was going to be the one.
Well, you know what? With that being said, there's no guarantee if Copeland goes to another school, he's definitely going to be the one. And in my opinion, like you said, I believe he's a combo guard. I believe he could play the 1 and the 2. And when you think about, yeah, he came off the bench, but look what he was doing coming off the bench. He was playing extremely well. He was getting a lot of minutes, and he was partially a lot of reason why they won some big basketball games. So that notion that he's strictly a 1, I don't buy that, but I just believe that he could have played the 1 and the 2. And the fact that Judah left, he should have waited, and then maybe he could have played the 1.
Well, and he hasn't committed yet, so why not come back? We've seen John Boljack do that before and come out of the portal. I mean, obviously they still have to honor it, but to me, Judah's not, he was never a 1, and you and I were talking about this off the air. Judah and I have a good relationship, and I think that's only grown over time. I just, if I'm looking at it impartially, and I'm having this conversation about Judah, yeah, go ahead, we got free cards here. Go ahead and take a pack if you'd like a pack.
There you go, guys.
So we have Judah the first year, and he shoots a lot, and he doesn't show leadership, right? So he's shooting a lot, he's not a floor general, he's not really showing leadership. I said he's got to show leadership. He puts himself in the NBA draft, he goes to the combine, he learns from them, he comes back. Some people told me that the NBA wanted to see leadership, and I was like, well, that's what I said. So he comes back to Syracuse. I think he had less leadership, more of a ball hawk, less of a floor general this year. So whatever the NBA didn't see after his freshman year, I feel like they saw less of what they didn't see when we look at this past year. So why he would go to the NBA draft when I feel like the NBA would have a conversation with him saying, everything we asked you to do, you haven't done yet. So I don't understand the move by Judah, because he wasn't ready and he wasn't showing leadership and he wasn't a floor general. And after his sophomore season, I think he's less of a floor general, less of a leader, and I still don't think he's learned anything they asked him to learn.
Well, for me, I think his representation was wrong. I think whoever was representing him was actually feeding him the wrong information. And as of last year, for me, I think a lot of it on the court, you can see that he didn't show a lot of leadership. And then I also think that his attitude wasn't up to par. I mean, there was maybe 1 or 2 games where he got technicals. And you're right, there was mostly a lot of games where he didn't show that leadership, but he had that in him, but he just didn't show it. And I think for me it was unfortunate, because he was a good player. He definitely could play the game, but I think him and Stalin sometimes struggle playing together. But the leadership definitely wasn't there, and I think if he could have showed a little bit more of that leadership, things could have been different. I mean, to not be invited to the compound, the NBA combine, I think that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Well, and I mean, even when you're invited to the combine, you're not guaranteed anything. There's 60 spots. There's thousands of people. D1, D2, D3. There's guys that are done with their eligibility. There's guys that leave early. There's guys from the G League. There's guys from overseas. There's JUCO guys. So you could be going up against 4,000 names for 60 spots, and only the first round has guaranteed money. So you got to hope and pray that you got a shot at a lottery pick or a top 30 pick. But if you're chosen 31 to 60, or you're not chosen at all, we've seen so many Syracuse guys, and I don't know who's representing them, but we've seen so many Syracuse guys leave after the first or second year, being told that they're going to be first round or they're going to be lottery. Dante Green, Tyler Ennis, Malachi Richardson, Tyler Lydon, they were all fed this like maybe they're going to be a lottery pick, and I love all those guys, and it's just, I wish somebody would tell the truth. And you know what I said to someone about this? I said, when an agent comes up to you and goes, oh yeah, you're an NBA guy, for sure, you got it, come on. He knows he's getting 5 to 10%. If the guy goes overseas, he's still getting 5 to 10%. So he might tell you, you're an NBA guy, you come out, you don't get in the NBA, and he goes, oh man, I tried everything I could, I worked all my connections, but we're going to get you overseas, because at the end of the day, 5 to 10% is 5 to 10% for that agent.
You know, for me, you can have these agents, but for me, it's about you have to put the work in. I mean, you really have to put the work in if you want to be an NBA player. Yeah. I mean, the work is unbelievable of what you have to do. You can have an agent, you can have all these people in your ear, but if you don't put the work in and just rely on just that you have talent, that is not going to get you very far. I'd be the first to tell you. I mean, I know when I played at Syracuse, when I went into Syracuse, I thought I was all that, and you get a rude awakening. You know, you don't put the work in, you don't get the results. You know, and there's a lot of players that not just Syracuse, that will go into the NBA and they don't last very long. And, you know, there's not a lot of players that last more than 3-4 years in the NBA. And if you could do that, then you know you've done a great job, but it's tough.
No, it's extremely tough. And, you know, when you came out being at Syracuse, you went overseas.
Oh, yeah, I had a good time, too.
Yeah, where did you end up going? Share with everybody.
I played over in England for about 10 to 12 years. It was a good time. You took the traveling and got the opportunity to travel. But, you know, every player, when you're coming out of high school and you're going to a major university, you're always thinking about the NBA.
Yeah, you know, and you got to play overseas, like you said. You had fun. You got to travel and whatnot. What was your favorite part of being in England?
They spoke the language. They had good fish and chips, and the people were really nice. You know, they were very welcoming, and we got along. We had good runs on the court. My teammates were really good, and you know, for me it was just the people. Yeah. You know, it was nice to go to a country where they spoke the language.
And for you, Jeannie, because not everybody has that. For you, when did you meet Mrs. Waldron?
Oh dear. I have to tell that story.
I want the Mrs. Waldron story.
Well, I was actually out one night and listening to one of my friends who plays for. He's a singer, Primetime, yeah. And she was actually sitting out with her friends, and I was sitting there listening to the music, yeah. And she called me over. She gave me one of these. She was like, called me over, and we sat and we spoke for about 20 minutes or so, and then when the night ended, we exchanged phone numbers, and I called her the same night.
Okay. Yeah.
She didn't answer the phone. She didn't answer the phone. But you know, the rest is history. I mean, it's the best thing that could ever happen to me in my life, and that's not even an exaggeration.
And you know, like you said, she called you over. So there's still hope, because as a single man, I'm like, I just want somebody, for all the talking I do, I want somebody to just be like, hey.
And
funny. She called you.
She called me, and she didn't. She never let on that she knew that I was a Syracuse guy. Yeah. She didn't let on for a while that she knew that I was a Syracuse guy, which was cool.
So she said, come over here, but she knew who you were?
Yeah, but she didn't let on. She never said anything.
She never said anything. Okay, all right. So, and you called her the same night?
Yeah, that didn't work.
So when did you have to call again, or did she call you back?
No, I called a couple of days later. We set up a time when we went out and had dinner, and we just took it one day at a time, and she got me hook, line, and sinker.
And we're here at the Syracuse Crawfish Festival, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, featuring Syracuse Orange basketball alum Gene Waldron, myself, Dan Tortora, here with Operation Northern Comfort in Clinton Square in my hometown of Syracuse, New York. And Jeannie, as we talk about the food here, Mrs. Waldron is an exquisite cook.
Oh yes, there's no question about that. You know, I'm not bragging, but my wife can cook just about anything, and she cooks it very well. Very, very well.
What are your I want top three, because she's right over our shoulder, so I want top three.
Top three, the number one would have to be oxtail. That would have to be number one.
Okay.
Number two would have to be... My number two would be, my wife cooks a good steak.
Okay.
And then my number three would have to be stuffed peppers.
Stuffed peppers. All right, my mom makes some stuffed peppers. I like
Stuffed peppers.
Stuffed
Oh
peppers.
yeah. I mean, I could go on and on and on.
I know you can, because she's incredible.
Yeah,
and
she
by
can
the
cook.
way, when we did a show at the Wildcat a couple years ago, I believe Gene said that I was invited to the house, but he didn't follow up on that, Mrs. Waldron. All right. Because I told him I'm sick and tired of seeing the food on Facebook. I want that food in front of me.
Oh,
I want
yeah.
that on my plate. So
Yeah, we have to have you over the summer.
how are
sure.
how are the dogs? Are they going to greet me kindly? Or are they going to run at me?
Oh no, they'll greet you. They'll
All right.
greet you.
I'm a dog person. Dogs know that.
Yes,
And
yes.
cats know that. Cats know I'm a dog person. They don't like me that much. They're not fans of me. So, Jeannie, before we get into rapid fire, and before you walk around here for a minute, get yourself some crawfish for the first time ever.
Oh dear.
What for you is your guiding light for this year with Syracuse basketball? We talked about what they lost. We talked about Q and Malik and those being two huge losses. What's the guiding light this year?
For me, that they can put it all together, listen to the coach, play hard, and hopefully make it to the NCAA. Because I think that's every Division I school's dream, to make it to the NCAA.
Do you know how many Division I men's basketball schools there are?
I have no idea.
I believe it's around 361.
It'd be nice if they can make it.
Yeah. They take 68. So
Yeah.
who's the best? Who's the leader from last year that you lean on?
I would have to lean on J.J. Stalin.
Agreed.
I think JJ has the qualities to be a good leader. Not even if he's not playing the point or whatever, but I think he has that leadership quality that where he could bring the team together, talk to them, because JJ know what it takes to be good.
Yeah.
Because JJ's put in the work. I mean, the Syracuse native, I think he has what it takes.
Well, the thing with JJ, like you said, it didn't really fit with him and Judah, because JJ would get the ball and he'd go off and have 11 points, 17 points, and then he wouldn't get the ball the next half.
I know, yeah.
And every time he got the ball, he proved that he could create his own shot, work himself into the shot, bring a guy in the lane, turn around, have that fadeaway jump shot. I think JJ is really underrated, but I think it's because he didn't get the ball enough.
I totally agree. But I also believe that if he puts in more work this summer, he's going to be a lot better than what he was last year. And I'm sure he's doing that right now.
Biggest loss for Syracuse, you said, was Malik Brown. We look at the transfer portal, we look at the things coming in, we know the world that we live in now with collegiate athletics. How do you feel about Adrian Autry in year number 2?
Well, I think he done an excellent job last year, and I also think this year he's going to do an excellent job. But they've got a lot of these coaches got a lot to contend with the kids leaving every year. Every year somebody wants to go to another school. And it's hard. And I remember speaking to the GMAC last year, and he's like, some of these kids just don't listen.
Yeah.
Because they know that they're getting paid. So that's a big thing. A lot of these kids, if I can go somewhere else and get money. Well, how about go somewhere else and get your education and play basketball? Because it's not all about money, and the money that these kids are getting, it's not going to last very long. These kids don't know how to they don't know how to manage that.
Well, the thing is now, Syracuse, one of the elite basketball programs historically, but if you come to Syracuse this season, you got a chance of being a superstar because the team was gutted. So I would think that Syracuse would be a great opportunity to get an education, play right away, and have the opportunity to have the nation talking about you.
Syracuse is always a great place to come and play basketball. Always has and always will be. It's now that I'm thinking about it, think about Brown and Copeland. Those two great players, in my opinion, decided to leave Syracuse.
And if they were on the team this year, we're talking about probably an NCAA tournament hopeful.
Easy. I truly believe that.
Final four
Let's hope.
All right, we got a Final Four here. That is the first time you and I have ever done a show, and there's been a mime.
Never before.
Never before. So
here you go.
We appreciate
respect.
It. Yes, respect the mime here, and respect their work. So Jeannie, we're going to play rapid fire here in a second, but I do have to ask you about this. I went down to his press conference. I changed my day around because it was one of the things I would never miss, because him and I have been friends for a long time and professionally have known each other, and we met in Scranton, and he came to Syracuse when I went to his hometown. He came to mine. We're 2 years apart. Jerry's 40, I'm 38, and he's still humble, great guy, awesome guy. I went to his introductory press conference at Siena, and then he went and hired one of my other good friends, Ryan Blackwell, and then he went and hired one of my favorite basketball players in Syracuse history, who's been on the show a bunch, and I was with a lot in Orlando at Summer League, and that's Arinze Onuaku. What is Jerry building in Siena?
Wow, I tell you what, the fact that he's got 2 great assistants, Syracuse alums, you can see the writings on the wall. I think he's going to do some good things. He's got a great personality. He knows how to talk to people. He's a motivator, so I'm really excited to see what Siena's going to do. But, he's got the assistants. Now you just got to get the plays, which I believe he's going to be able to do.
Already got Peter Carey. And I think Peter Carey is way better of a center than people think, because we never got to see him. That man, in the few moments we saw him, for a big guy, he can move his feet and he can be pretty quick out there.
I believe so. I think that's going to be one guy that's going to really show what he really has. It's unfortunate he didn't get the opportunity to play a whole lot at Syracuse, but I think it was a great opportunity for Jerry to snatch him up and bring him with him.
Absolutely. So with that being said,
how you doing?
Jeannie.
40. Yes. 40. No 3-pointers. Okay. Thank you.
So you just had somebody come up and show you some love. Bring me into that moment he's celebrating.
Well, it was January 3rd, 1983. We were playing Iona College. And I'll never forget this, because before the game, the day before the game, that coach, Pat Kennedy for Iona, was talking about, you don't worry about nobody, just stop Pearl and Addison. And Pat Kennedy tried to recruit me to Iona back in the day when I was in high school, when Jim Valvano, bless his heart, was at Iona. And he tried to recruit me to Iona, and I decided to come to Syracuse. So he was talking about, oh, don't worry about Waldron, just worry about Pearl and Addison. And I ripped him for 40 points.
Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes, right?
That's all it takes.
What do they say? Don't prove them wrong, prove yourself right.
There you go.
So, Jeannie, we're going to play rapid fire. We've done it before. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is live on site, on location at the Syracuse Crawfish Festival with Operation Northern Comfort. I want to thank Laurel and Joyce for getting me involved. And I want to thank all the awesome people in our community that decided to pack this event here in Clinton Square today. And Wake Up Call is Monday through Friday from 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. And you can also find us by searching any of your search engines, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, as well as Spotify, TuneIn, YouTube, iHeart, iTunes, and so on and so forth, Amazon Music, Audible, and all that good stuff.
You name it, he does it.
That's right, Jeannie. So we're going to play rapid fire. You got me for 3, I got you for 3. What do you got for me?
What's your best food that you cook?
Best food that I cook? I'm going to tell you something that I just created. I love angel hair pasta. And my grandmother, my Gammy Miller, my dad's mom, she got me on angel hair. After she gave me angel hair, I didn't want any other type of pasta. And I got angel hair at home, and I put shrimp on it. I seasoned up my shrimp, and I decided to make myself a homemade shrimp scampi sauce. And now I make shrimp scampi homemade.
That's pretty good. Now, I love me some shrimp scampi.
Yeah, and I'm making it. There you go. We got some love for shrimp scampi out here. I like that. But I made and it's all healthy. There's no butter in it. There's no oil in it. None of that. So,
wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so, all right, Gene. We know that Mrs. Waldron cooks. What do you make? What's your favorite thing that you've ever made?
My wife is laughing. She knows what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Chicken, rice, and black beans.
Chicken, rice, and black beans.
But she used to come over to my apartment. That's what I used to make for her. She's like, is that all you cook?
See, but the thing is, Gene, and you know this, it's all about this. When you're making anything, including chicken, it's all about the
flavor.
All about that seasoning. So, Mrs. Waldron, does he season it right? Okay. That's all we care about. If I go somewhere and chicken tastes like water, I'm gonna throw it back at the kitchen.
Oh, dear.
What do you got for me, Gene?
Okay, so your predictions
Yeah.
for Siena if they get their players. That's a tough one,
I got Siena.
especially with the way that you know Jerry.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the number I'm getting in my head. I'm gonna say 18 wins. 18 out of 31, so a winning record. I'm going to give him a winning record, and I'm going to give him a little bit of a fight in the MAC, maybe a couple wins in the MAC tournament.
That's pretty good. I could agree to that.
And if it doesn't happen year one, then I'm going to say that year two.
And the reason why I asked you that question because you know Jerry very well, and you know the fight that he always puts forward. So it's going to be really interesting to see how well he does this year.
I'll never forget when he looked in and he said, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to time. And he's like, and I'm damn proud to be the coach here. And he looked out, and I was like, oh, that's that red face that he did when he used to shoot them threes and look at somebody. I was like, oh, Jerry, I felt that. Because I was in the front row. Jerry was here. I was front row all the way to the end on the right side, and his parents were right next to me in the aisle. And I got to meet his parents. I got to talk to his wife, and I told his parents, I said, just so you know, I consider y'all celebrities because you were at every game, didn't miss a game. And I also told them, I said, they reminded me of my mom and dad because whether I was out there playing or not playing, my parents did not miss a single game that I played in.
His parents were at every game, and they're very, very supportive, and they were great people.
Incredible people. I actually owe them a phone call. So, McNamara's, if you're listening, I'm going to call you over the weekend, I promise.
There you go.
All right, Jeannie. So, my second question for you is, I know that you eat healthy, but if you had a cheat day and you got to just get a big old dessert, anything you want, no calories, no limits, what are we doing?
Cheesecake.
Okay.
Definitely cheesecake.
From where?
You know what? My wife has actually made cheesecake before, but it would have to be cheesecake and with some strawberries on top.
Okay.
That sounds really good.
I like that. Who was a guy? Juniors is where Diddy used to make him walk to get cheesecake.
Who's that?
Yeah, P. Diddy.
Oh, did he? Oh,
He used to make them walk to Juniors to get cheesecake.
Wow.
So when I think of cheesecake, I think of that. But you know, I like cheese, but it can't be as thick. I don't like when it's heavy. I like a little bit lighter of a cheesecake.
Yes. But I am a huge cheesecake fan. I mean, that's something that I really enjoy. And I haven't had it for a while, honey.
I think this is what we should do. When I get invited over to the Waldron house, that's going to be the cheat day cheesecake day. Mrs. Waldron said yes.
Okay.
So I just hooked you up with some cheesecake.
There you go.
What's your last one for me?
All right, my last one for you is, do you think Coach Boeheim would come out of retirement?
I would love to see him coach in the NBA, but they don't listen. They don't listen, though. But I like to see. I don't think he. You know what? I'll say it like this: if Adrian, and I want it to work. If the Adrian project doesn't work, I could see Jim coming in for like a couple years, coming back for a couple years.
Yeah, you know.
But I want Adrian to work.
Yes, I definitely want Adrian to work. But could you imagine? I can see why Coach got out of the game, but could you imagine him coming back? He'd be worse than before he left.
I can't. Yeah, because now he don't even care. And I told people, I go, you're going to have him sitting with everybody at a desk talking about a game. You're going to ask him a question. He's going to give you a blunt answer. And so they're like, why do you think that, Jim? And he's like, because he's not good.
Exactly. He doesn't pull any punches. I love that guy.
And then like somebody will say, really? And he'll be like, are you serious? I mean, he's Jim Boeheim. All right, Gene, my last question for you. If you and I and Jim Boeheim were going to go on a trip together, where would the three of us go? And what celebrity would we take with us to entertain the three of us?
I tell you what, we would go to Hawaii.
You can take one of those.
We go to Hawaii. And because Coach, he never really shows any emotion, we'd have to bring some of that out of him. We would bring Steve Harvey with us, just to see Coach laugh a couple of times, because you never really see him laugh.
So where are we going?
Hawaii.
So we're going to Hawaii.
And we're bringing Steve Harvey with us, because he's going to keep it loose, and he'll keep Coach laughing, because you know how serious Coach can be.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even at the best of times, you got to keep him loose.
I remember when Coach, first time I interviewed him in his office, and we finished the interview and I shut my mic off, and I wish I had kept it on. I came around and I had put a chair behind his desk so I could sit with him, and I picked the chair up and I had shut the mic off, and I'm taking it, and he looks at the ground and he goes, good. It was a good interview. It was a good interview. And I was like, that's like him kissing you on the mouth.
I tell you what, I used to do the Syracuse basketball game.
Yeah.
And one game they played against West Virginia, and it was a sloppy win. And I remember going up to Coach and saying, Coach, it wasn't the greatest of wins. You don't want to know what he said before we went on. He ripped into me so bad. He's like, you should know better. All wins are great wins. You should know better. You should never say that to me. And then from that day forward, after every game, I would just say, Coach, can I have your thoughts? Because I didn't want no more trouble.
Hey, Coach, that was a great loss.
Never said. I just say, Coach, can I have your thoughts? And he gave me 2.5 minutes spiel, and that was it.
I like the Hawaii thing because I wanted to go there. I also like the fact that I got some friends from Hawaii, but Steve Harvey, not only is he very funny, but he's very inspirational.
Yes,
and,
very.
And I feel like when I've hosted some game show nights and done some things, Steve Harvey and I have similar. I like to bring comedy, and he likes to bring it on Family Feud. I have very comedic reactions to the craziness of people, and I would react, and in my head I was seeing Steve, and I both had that same, oh Lord, did you just say that out loud?
Yeah,
I remember, he would say something, and he's like, there's no way that's on the board, and he'd turn around, and then it'd pop up on the board.
When I watch his shows, I mean, he is so fun. And you're right, some of the things he said, did you just say that?
Oh, yeah.
Or he'll make fun of, not real malicious fun, but he'll make fun of some of the contestants, but he does it in a real crafty way.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you something. There's some dirty minds that come on Family Feud.
Oh my, yeah, for sure.
Some dirty minds out there. So, with that being said, we look forward to continuing to see you all out here at the Syracuse Crawfish Festival, Operation Northern Comfort. Get your hands dirty in some crawfish right now.
I'm going to try that.
Yeah, Gene's going to do it. Mr. and Mrs. Waldron here, Syracuse Orange basketball alum sitting next to me. Gene and I have been doing shows for years. Consider him part of the family now. We consider each other brothers, which
that's for sure
is one of the best honest compliments that I've ever gotten in my life, because you're good people, Gene. So, Gene Waldron, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find us Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You know where, YouTube and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT. WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. Main website just redone. Bunch of awesome stuff on there. Love the way it looks. WakeUpCallDT.com. Thanks to Operation Northern Comfort, the Syracuse Crawfish Festival, Laurel, as well as Joyce, everybody that's worked on this project. And as always, Mr. Waldron, I thank you for being who you are.
Thank you for having me, Dan, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day, and I'm going to go try some crawfish.
Let's go. Go Syracuse.
Oh, yes, definitely. Go Cuse.
Let's go Orange, baby. We'll see you all here in Clinton Square. Thanks for being out here supporting our community.